This is an introduction to fractions. Today we're going to be going over some basic vocabulary, what fractions look like, and how they're written. The first thing we're going to talk about is what is a fraction. A fraction is part of a whole. In other words, if I had a box, rather a rectangle, split into 4 groups, and only one group was shaded out of the 4, then I would have a fraction that looks like 1 over 4, or 1/4. One piece is shaded out of 4 total. One piece is shaded out of the total 4. Fractions have something called a numerator and a denominator. Let's take the fraction 1/4 again. The numerator is the top number. So the numerator in this case is 1. The denominator is the bottom number. In this case, the denominator is a 4. So to recap, the numerator is the top number and the denominator is the bottom in a fraction. Now let's take a look at the fraction strip to the left. The first bar we see here is one whole. There are no pieces and it's in one piece, so it's one whole piece. The one directly beneath it, outlined in green, has 2 separate parts. It's still part of that same whole, but it's broken up into 2 pieces. Here's one piece, and here's the second. But remember, these 2 pieces are still part of the same whole number. So since there's 2 separate pieces, our denominator or our bottom number is going to be 2. Each one of these pieces is 1 out of 2, or 1/2. 1/2. That's what the fraction 1/2 looks like. The next block has 3 total pieces. 1, 2, and 3. Remember, this is still part of that one whole. So each piece is 1 out of 3, or 1/3. 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. The next fraction we're going to look at is this one in gray. So let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces in this one. 4 equal pieces that make up one whole. So each one of these pieces is 1/4. 1/4. This one is also 1/4. This is one piece out of 4. Fourths can also sometimes be called a quarter because there's 4 quarters in one whole dollar. Try to do the next 2 on your own. Tell me how many pieces there are all together, and then tell me which each one of these pieces will be labeled. Remember, the bottom number is how many total parts, and the top number we're going to be using is just one of these parts.